Hey there, it's Jeff coming to you live outside again with the BeamStream this week. First, you're going to be hearing from Abib with the big question about how you want the world to see your future you. And then Sarah's going to join us with the Project Peak. She's going to show us how to make our personal power pendant. That's right, with the LED inside. She's going to show us how to do that. And then I'm going to be right back here with what to bring to your team Zoom.
Big question!
Hello guys, welcome to today's BeamStream. My name is Abib. Let's just jump into the big question. Well, today's big question is about what do you see your future self doing? For example, you can it could be related to something that you do, something that you're interested in or passionate about, a philosophy, something that represents you, right? So what I did, for example, something that represents me is this, right? Thinking about this logo. This is my logo for my clothing brand. It's called Infinite Amulets. So when people look at that, they automatically relate that to me because it talks about me, it talks about who I am, and it shows the values and it shows that, oh, okay, just like for example, Nike logo. When you see the swoosh signs, you automatically relate that to Nike. So yeah, so this project, it's kind of like related to how do you represent yourself, or what is that thing that you can use to represent yourself. So based on that logo, I kind of like came up with a little concept, glued, I try to outline the logo that I did. It's pretty simple. And LEDs, so when I connect the battery, boom, it lights up. Yeah, so that's, I think that's about it for the big question. Yeah, so think about it and give it a try. And again, Sarah, you will see the steps on how to make your own icon. With Sarah, she will show you the steps on how to make it. It's very simple. Yeah. All right, guys. Peace. Thanks for watching.
What are we gonna do? I don't know. Project Peak.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Project Peak. So Abib asked you about what symbol, icon, logo you might choose to represent yourself or your ideals you want to embody in the future. And I am going to show you how to turn that symbol into a personal power pendant. So to make this project, we're going to start with a sketch of some designs. You're going to pick one that you want to try. Then we're going to make a mold. And a mold is like an empty vessel that you pour something into, in this case hot glue, to make a cast. And then halfway through casting, we'll put an LED somewhere into your power object. And then create a circuit. This is a custom battery pack, 2 gator clips to light up your personal power pendant, which of course you're going to wear every day from now on. So first step is make a sketch. So you can see here I have some sketches. I was thinking growing things, growth in general. That's a really important thing that I want to embody in my future. So I think I'm going to do something with that. You can see my sketch for this little bicep strong arm emoji, basically. And emojis are a really good inspiration for this project since you want really simple, strong outlines for these drawings. I thought maybe an eye would be cool. Thought like an LED glowing in the center of something would look really sweet. But I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick this too complicated flower and just see how it goes. Alright, so I've got my sketches right next to me, and I've also got this piece of scrap cardboard, which I'm going to use as the base for this mold. So I'm just gonna draw from my sketch here. I'm gonna draw my little flower design and try and keep it like pretty small, not too big, sort of the size of a common thumb, something like that. So let's give that a go here. All right, not bad. I'm gonna make a little dot for where I want the LED to go. At this point, you might want to plug in your hot glue gun. Now that I've got my drawing on my piece of cardboard, I am ready to outline this drawing and turn it into a mold. And to do that, you will need to cut out 2 long, thin strips of some kind of like heavyweight paper. I used magazine cover. That would be perfect. You could also use any other thin packaging material, cardstock, cover for a folder would be great. Anything that's thin, bendable, reasonably strong, stronger than copy paper. All right, so I'm all ready to go to make my mold. I have these thin strips that I cut out, and they're no thicker than your Sharpie marker here, if you're looking for a rule of thumb. I also have my hot glue gun all heated up and ready to go, and I have my other camera set up here, but let's get started. So I'm gonna begin just by putting down a little dot of glue, maybe at one of the corners of my design, and I'm gonna start just slowly curving this around, holding down one part at a time, and kind of staying on the outside of my shape. So I'm just putting down a little dot of glue at a time. And I'm using a lot of patience here and only a tiny bit of glue. So I'm down here at the stem. You can see I'm just still slowly bending everything around, using teeny tiny little dots of hot glue and a lot of patience. So this is a really finicky thing, and you can see why a simpler design is going to be a little bit easier with this method. But I'll speed this up again. You can also see that in this area, corners like this are super tricky. So I would say avoid these as much as possible, but I'm gonna give it a go just so you can see what it's like. Oh, you can see I ran out of paper here, so I just tore off another little chunk. I'm almost done. All right. So I've got my mold, got my masking tape, and I'm going to use a pencil also to jam this tape into the little tiny parts of this mold. So here we go. so I'm pretty close to the end here, and I'm just mashing it into the center with the end of a pencil. Sometimes the point too, if it's really, really skinny, if you did like an overcomplicated design like mine. So again, keep it simple, guys. I think this one might be too hard, but we'll see. So I'm just checking to see that all of the sides are covered. I need to cover this part right here, and this part in there, and this part here, and then I think I'm all set. So here is my fully taped up mold. Yay! You can see it looks a little scrappy in there, but all of the sides are covered. Every surface is covered in masking tape, and, you know, it's the inner beauty that counts. So let's fill this thing full of hot glue, place our LED, and see what happens. I forgot to mention, before you start gluing, pick out the LED that you want to put into your object. I'm going to use red for the red flower. You can also, at this point, pick anything else you want to throw into your object. This could be glitter, could be beads. I cut out a little bit of green plastic I think I'll use for the leaf color. I also have like all these seeds. Maybe I'll use like a bean or something. You can throw anything into your cast that you want. Try it out. All right, this is the fun part. So I've got my glue gun, I have an extra glue stick, LED, the stuff I'm gonna put into it, and I have my mold ready to go. So first thing we're gonna do, I'm just gonna squeeze first layer of hot glue into the bottom of the mold. You might notice that your glue gun starts to slow down once you get to this point, but it's just because it's trying to heat up a whole lot of glue at once. Okay, so that's my first layer done. Looks pretty good. While it's still hot, I'm gonna sort of squash this little plastic bit in there for the color. That'll do it. And I'm going to spread apart the legs of the LED and stick it right in the center there. And then I'm ready for the second layer. Here we go. Alright, so I feel pretty good about the amount of glue I have in there. It's like 2 thin layers of glue, and it's still pretty friggin' hot. So I'm going to go put this either outside, if it's cold enough today, or I'm going to throw it in my freezer. And in the meantime, let's make the battery pack to power your personal power pendant. For the copper tape method, all you need is a little piece of cardboard, or you could use paper. Cardboard's a little bit better. Little piece about this size, battery for size reference, and a little piece of copper tape. So your battery pack is going to fold over like this, holding your battery. So we want to extend the sides of your battery to the edges of the cardboard, and we can do that with the copper tape. So you will, if it's folded like this, you want one piece going from the middle to this side, and then you want another little piece going from the middle to the other side. Once you have those 2 pieces of copper tape on your piece of cardboard, to help yourself out, write a positive sign on one side, a negative sign on the other, and place your battery inside. Placing the positive side of the battery, you can see a little plus sign on there. Put the positive side on the positive side of your pack, negative side of the battery on the negative side of the pack, and sandwich it all together, either with a binder clip, which works great, or you can use masking tape and wrap it up super tightly. Okay, let's test this thing out. So I have an LED here, and every LED has a positive side and a negative side, just like the battery. So we want to connect the longer leg, it's usually the longer leg of the LED that is positive, to the positive side of your battery pack. We can do that with gator clips. Okay. So clipping onto the copper tape on the positive side with one, clipping onto the negative side of the battery pack with the other gator clip. Now let's connect positive gator clip to the long leg of the LED and negative. Oh, it works! And if by any chance it doesn't work, you can just flip it around, because you probably just have your legs switched. There you go. For the alternative version of the battery pack, instead of copper tape, you can use 2 of these brass tacks to conduct electricity instead. So, same deal. Grab a piece of thin paper or cardboard. I'm using the same stuff that I used for my mold. And you're going to fold it in half, just like the other one. But for this one, you're going to punch a brass tack with both legs together like this through the center of each side. There we go. Alright, so this will be our negative, this will be our positive, and we can write that onto our paper as well. So let's do a plus and a minus, and clip this whole thing together and see if it works. I'm going to be careful to not have the brads touching the binder clip, because that'll make it a short circuit. Alright, let's test it out. Alright, so this guy works too. This one's maybe a little bit trickier to put together, maybe not as strong of a connection, but works well. Now that I've got the power ready for my pendant, let's go get the pendant out of the freezer. Okay, so I've got my ice cold pendant out of the freezer here, and I'm gonna take it out of this mold, which really just means ripping this thing apart. Let's watch. Okay, here it is. I'm actually super pleased with how this turned out. I had no idea my super complicated design would actually work, so I'm really glad it did. Some of the tape was a little bit of a struggle to pick out, but tweezers are your friend for this if you have them around, or fingernails if you have fingernails too. So let's hook it up to the power. So I have these 2 little legs sticking out of the back. And you're going to see why those are helpful here. And I'm going to bend them into a little loop so that they don't show, just for picky aesthetic reasons. Clipping the positive side to the long leg of the LED. Negative side, ooh, cool, to the negative side of the LED. I'm pretty happy with that. That looks like a nice flower. So, this has been Sarah for Project Peak with my new swag. And I hope you guys have fun with this. Remember to be patient with yourselves while you're doing the molds. Have fun. Bye.
What to bring?
This week at the Team Zoom, please bring your personal power pendant with the glowy light inside, and a computer and phone to take pictures of it and put it on your website. See you then.